I am back to using my favorite paper today. This was going to be the last card that I made with it, but I may squeeze in one more. So, you know, I keep saying it's the end of my celebration, and I am getting to the end of it. But I just love, 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 love this paper. This is the Designer Series paper from Painted Seasons, and it is free with a $50 order. But I'm also going to use the stamp set today. This is a video that I've already posted, and this is a stamp that is from the Sweet Storybook stamp set that's in the annual catalog. Today I'm going to use the same paper, and that one used a different stamp because the stamp set doesn't actually come with the mushroom. And the paper, here's the paper here. See, for $100 you also get the stamp set. And the stamp that goes with it is this little fern here, and you can see it's in the paper. So that's the stamp that I'm going to use with it today. But I just love mushrooms, and so I pulled the mushroom from the other set on my other video, and you can watch that. It has a blends tutorial on it if you're not real sure how to blend with your blends. That mushroom is a great stamp to use to blend with that. So there is a part of the today's video that I already did ahead of time, and I'll explain that to you how I did it. This is Poppy Parade, and if there's one thing this paper has done, it's reminded us all what a fabulous color Poppy Parade is, because it's so pretty, so bright and cheery. It's not quite red, it's got a tinge of orange. It reminds me a long time ago when I first started and we didn't have a real red, we had rocket red. That's kind of what it reminds me of. So I'm going to fold that and put it aside. I think I have too much white paper here. So for what I'm going to do, and all of the papers have a really pretty reverse that's a solid, one color, not solid, but just one color. So I'm going to use a strip of that on this as well. So let's get stamping. I have Pumpkin Pie and Mango Melody that I'm going to stamp my fern with. And I want to figure out what I've done here with my papers. I don't think I need this. I'm not quite sure what this is doing here. I think it's just some spare paper I had laying on the table. So I'm going to stamp my fern, and I'm going to try to make it look like the paper. So let me show you the paper again, because it's got some espresso in the middle and then some pumpkin pie and some mango melody on it. So, and I want two of them because I want one for the outside and one for the inside of my card. So I'm going to stamp it in the mango, and then I'm just going to ever so slightly on the edges get some pumpkin pie. Oh, and I didn't get enough on that one, so let's start over. Actually, let's do it this way. I'm going to switch the way I'm going to do it. So I'll get the mango. That's better. Stamp that. My mango needs to be re-inked. You know, you stamp for a while, and especially on these light colors, realize that they need to be, that one's better. Since I have so much paper, I'm just going to do one more over here. When you have to stamp that hard on your stamp pad, it's a sign you need to be re-inking your pads. But we're okay because I'm going to also color. So let's do it this way instead. Then I have the Champagne Mist. And if you watch my videos, you've seen me do this a ton of times because I love this. I made this original card weeks ago. And now looking at my stamp pad, I can tell this is how I made it because I have a mess in the top of my lid. So you take your stamp pad and you smash it down like this. And when you do that, it gets ink. See, I've totally inked that. I knew I did it with the brown because that's the only way I could get the brown in the middle. So this is espresso. Do the same thing. You have to press harder on these than you did our old style pad. So if you still have an old style pad, you don't have to just press as hard. Let's stick these up here. And then this is an old Wink of Stella. And if you keep the lids on them, and the tips don't dry, you can use them as a brush. See if I can open this. And I'm just going to use the paint that comes in the lid. So I'll set that aside. And then you just dab a tiny, tiny bit in here. You don't need hardly any, just to get enough paint on here. So it picks up the color, but it also makes it sparkly. And I am just kind of smudging it on there because that's kind of how the design is on the stamp. Because it's a fern. And you know those pumpkin pie sparkly smudgy ferns you find out in the forest. Or not. It's an artistic one, right? So I've got that one, and then I'll go over here to the one that I didn't stamp the top off of. Now you can see it doesn't matter so much that my mango needed to be re-inked. But speaking of re-inkers and stamp pad refills, there's a ton that you can do with them besides re-ink your stamp pads. But Sale-a-bration is really the best time of year to buy them because they're no fun to buy. Because it's, you know, it's like buying socks or something. You have to have them. And there's fun things you can do with them. But at least if you buy your refills during Sale-a-bration, they can count towards getting some free stuff, right? So go over to your stamp cabinet when you're done with this. See what stamp pads you have and which ones don't have a refill. And see if you can get together a $50 order. And now I'm just doing the exact same thing with the espresso, which is a dark color. So I'm very, 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 very slightly drawing the veins of my fern on here. It's a really pretty effect. I know you won't be able to see the shimmer it's getting on camera, and I will try to get it when I do the pictures on my website. So go to my website and I'll see if I can capture it. Sometimes it captures, you know, if I can get just the right light to hit it, you can see it a little bit better. So what you want to do is first take your espresso and go up the... If you're doing this, if you're a demonstrator and you're doing this at a class and you're worried about everybody in the world putting their Stella into the top of your stamp pad, then you could do an ink refill. And what I do is I either get a styrofoam plate or our largest sized acrylic block, the giant one for the background stamps, and just take a Sharpie and write espresso, and then put a drop or two of the ink refill. So see, you actually could use it. And then that becomes your palette instead of having to use your ink pad. But it creates a little bit of a mess, and you don't use it all up if it's just you for no more than I use. So if it's just you, then just use the top of your ink pads. And over time, if you get a little bit of a buildup, just take a magic eraser or a little soapy cloth and wipe out the end of the inside of your stamp pad. So there's our ferns, and we all let those dry a second before I run them through the Big Shot since they've got that shimmer paint on them. See how pretty those are? I think you can see a little bit of the shimmer on that. But they're pretty, and you can see now they match the paper. Even with my mango that doesn't have quite enough ink in it. So I'm going to not put that with the other so I can remember to refill it. Oh, I guess I need my espresso. Then I've pulled out a stamp set. Oh, and I meant to look. It's the one that goes with the kit. Do I have a catalog line here? I do. Let me see what the name is of this, and I will put it down below. The kit's actually on back order, but the stamp set itself is fabulous. It's incredible like you. Of course it is, because that's what the stamp said. It says incredibly proud of you. So this is just a piece that I have hand cut. I know some of it just kills some people to hand cut. It's a little crooked because you know you can't always hand cut straight, but most of it's going to get covered up. So stamp that on there in espresso. I love the font of this stamp set. The kit that goes with it is fabulous. And when they're back in stock, I have a video ready to go. I haven't posted it yet. I'll get once it gets closer to me knowing that it will be in stock, I will do that for you. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to stick it here. And then here's the part that I did beforehand. My helper's coming. I took, get out of the way. I took a big sheet of this, just like this, and I put the big sheet Sizzix adhesive on the whole thing. And then I ran it through the subtle embossing folder. Bubby, I need the table. Thank you. Can you just go someplace else and play? Go on. I don't know why he's been so attentive recently, and his sister has just sat in the window. So I put the adhesive on it, and I just ran it through the subtles. And so it gave me a giant sheet, and you can see here, of little pieces, and I have cut them out. And I just did it one day when I was on the phone with my mom. I've actually done this card on a Facebook Live, so it was a while ago though. So as I was talking to my mom, I just sat here and cut. So I have a whole bunch of little stickers, and they've got little texture. So the reason I ran it through the subtle embossing folder was twofold. One, it gives great little texture, and two, it helps to make sure that the sticker is super, super stuck on there. So now I've got my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm just gonna lift the stickers off so you can see, literally a little sticker. I'm gonna get my other little thing in here so I can put the sticker backs in it. And then I am just going to stick these on here. So I've got, some of them I trimmed closer than others. Like the mushrooms are pretty trimmed close to this toadstools. I did not try to get down in between all of the little rims. But when you have the Take Your Pick tool, you can also use your snips, is what I would have used before we had the Take Your Pick tool. But just stick it in there and then lift up the paper. And then just place it. So this is a fun way to get the mushrooms out of the paper if you don't have a mushroom stamp. And you know, I've used the Fox set and I've used the Storybook set, but this way you can have mushrooms on your card and not have a mushroom stamp at all, because we just got mushrooms. And if you could make them much more of a focal point if you wanted to by not putting them on the background of the mushrooms. But I want my focal point to be a little bit more the fern that I just took the time to stamp. These are more some accent pieces. This is the acorn, and you can see it's teensy tiny. So try not to lose it. The nice thing is once you get that sticker paper lifted off, then your thing sticks to the... So let's stick one of those there. And they're really pretty. You could use these on just a simple note card, which you could just stamp this Incredibly Proud of You or any of the other sayings that came in this kit, and then just add one of these little stickers, and it would be a nice simple card. And from 1/4 sheet of cardstock, you can tell I got a ton of stickers. This will be the 3rd time I've made the card. Where do we want to go with this? I feel funny doing it upside down. I'm doing it so you can see it, but I'm afraid that I'm going to place something in a funky place. Maybe this is, you can see now it didn't matter so much that my thing was cut funny. The first time I actually made this card, I ran it through the rectangle, framed rectangle, stitched rectangles, the new one. But it all got covered up, so it's not, I felt like it was an unnecessary thing to do. And then I'm going to put my fern here. So I'll have one more of these, and then I might come back and put one of those on the inside of the card when I'm done. And come on, lift up. There we go. So let's run these through the Big Shot. Now it's plenty of time for them to have dried. See my teeny little acorn still there. I've just kept those in this thing and hoped every time my cats have walked on the table that they haven't stood in them. So grab my Big Shot. I feel like maybe this came, does that come with two? Let me see if I have another. Maybe that's the pine cone. Oh no, maybe it does come with two. Are these two the same thing? Yes. So I'll get to run both of these through at the same time. Would have been easier if I had done them both on the same piece of paper. But you know, if you mess up, you just stamp another one, especially when it's white paper. Because white cardstock is something we usually all have in abundance. Now, where'd I put my other Big Shot top? Is it under here? No. I'm sure I'm staring right at it. You know, all this see-through stuff. Yep, here it is. I put my catalog on top of it when I went to show you, to look up the name of the set. These will only take one pass through, because they're just framelets. And because I have two, I will be able to choose which one I think is the nicer looking one and which one is maybe not as nice. Like this one didn't quite get on the thing as good as the other one. So I'll put it on the inside. So I'm going to take this now. I'm actually going to turn it around so I can see it. I'm going to stick it here. I'm going to take the whole card. I'm going to put it back through the settles thing. And you can see now how it's all kind of bumpy because it's got stuff all at different layers. This will help to smash it all down to one layer. And it's a super thick embossing folder, so you only need one thing to go over it. Kind of turns the whole thing into linen. This piece right here won't get as much because this has the higher thing. So what you can do is you can put it through the other direction and give it some texture the other way. So that's upside down and the other direction. You can also do it. And you know it's upside down because Stampin' Up! Is always the top side of our folders. So now you see this has a little bit more. But it makes it look like it's more one piece of paper as opposed to all those stickers. As you can see now, these have wedged themselves down in there really well. I'm going to do it one more time because I would like for this to be a little bit more smudgy in there. So I'm going to do it this way. And you can just kind of play with it. This is a brand new Big Shot. I had one of my Big Shots from whatever year Stampin' Up! First came out with a Big Shot. And my daughter is now the proud owner of that because she did not have a Big Shot. And most of you know she is a demonstrator. And she does not live with us. Yeah, now see, now it's not lifted up at all. So just put it in different directions and you will finally get it. So now it's all one level piece of paper. So it doesn't even appear to be stickers anymore. She was happy to get an old Big Shot, and I was happy to get a new one. And again, if you don't have a Big Shot celebration, great time to do it. That was why I did it, because I got some free stuff. Actually, she got my free celebration stuff, so she benefited in more ways than one. So I'm going to stick this here. Well, it's nice to have a mom who's a demonstrator who's been a demonstrator for so long that she doesn't need everything. Okay, so there's my strip of that. And then this is our Granny Apple Green. I think it's called woven ribbon. Pull my ribbon over here. Granny Apple Green textured weave ribbon. just going to put it on this much. And I just want it to wrap around the edges. So I'm going to put a little bit here and a little bit there. Just so it kind of holds it so I know it doesn't go crooked. One of the other videos, if you haven't watched it, that I have posted, I know several of you were disappointed that you couldn't get the frog dies, especially after I posted my frog card that had the wobbly springs on it. So I have a limited time offer where we're not allowed to sell stamped images, but we can sell punched and die cut images. So I have a video that shows you how, if you want to purchase the dies and the tutorial on how to use them with the Stamparatus and how to make the little spring thing. So that video is up, but you need to watch it soon because it's not an unending offer from me, because I'm not going to be punching those little frogs out or running the dies out forever. I've had a lot of people offer and ask if I will be selling mine, but I have had so many people ask if they could buy my one set that there's no possible way that I could do it any kind of fair. And because it's a new promotion, a celebration coordination, I'm not even sure as demonstrators when we are allowed to sell them. So I tried to think of how I could help everybody that wanted to buy the dies and make the card, but had missed out on the dies. So go check that video out if you are interested in learning how to make the spring and getting some dies. And I'm doing 15 dies, so it's enough for you to make, or 15 run-throughs of all of the dies, so it's enough to make a ton of cards, because you would not be putting all of the frogs on all of your cards. And of course, this is my very favorite ribbon, the polka dot tool that I put on almost all of my cards. I did not put it on the last mushroom card. So I've just layered that over and folded it on twice. Stick this on here. Get it out of the way. And then, because this was run through the textured thing, you want to make sure that you have lots of good adhesive under here. So if you still have Fuse, I would use Fuse on this, just because the designer series paper, once it runs through the settles folder, it becomes more like a linen paper. But we'll get it. You could also use glue dots here in the corners to hold it down, or some tearable tape, which I think on my sample before I used tearable tape, but that takes too long on a video. So there's the outside, and then I just have this stick here on the inside. And then you could take any more of the stickers and add those also, or you could put your stickers on your envelope. But there it is. And so then you've added some mushrooms without having to have a mushroom stamp. So if you're in love with the mushrooms, and you could do it with, if you want to do it with the succulents out of the succulent paper, or the flowers out of the flower paper, or the, I don't think, are there pine cones? I don't know that the Christmassy themed paper necessarily, I can't remember if there's any images big enough that you'd want to do it, but it's a really fun technique, and you could do it with a lot of designer series paper where you pull it through. Here, this one's laying a little flatter. And when I did on this one, I also added some Wink of Stella to some of the images. So I hope you enjoy that. I hope it's a fun technique and a new technique for some of you to give a try. And then with these, just take them and stick them in one of the little baggies that some of your embellishments have come in that you've used up. That way you'll have those for a long time to come. So remember, March 31st, or while supplies last, is when you need to get your celebration things. Have a great day. Bye.